more people blame Joe Biden for our biggest economic problems still than Donald Trump.
Got a bunch of Trump-ears brainwashed.
But so in that sense, it's probably better for him to be talking about these things than to call affordability a hoax, as he did last month. So, as long as the problems persist, Donald Trump is still going to be weighed down by this issue.
And so when you look at the people that this poll focused on, the people who moved to Trump in 2024, are they up for grabs?
I think that they're absolutely up for grabs.
That one hit the ground.
Political damage that was done to the Democrats during the Biden years will prove to be lasting to some extent or another. That's usually what happens in politics. When groups swing, they rarely go all the way back. There's someone in this process was won over to the Republicans for good, or alternately, if you prefer, has been alienated from the Democrats for life. That said, a lot of them are likely dissatisfied now with both sides. I would guess that many could return to the sidelines in politics, that they may not vote in the next election. While
I think more people are voting in the next election,
voters who, if
maybe than ever before.
A new set of ideas and
people are pissed.
Candidate, and things continue to stay this bad, the Democrats will have a chance to win many of them back.
Check out Kat Abigazali. She's a good candidate.
The Republican Party to make of it.
We need our good candidates to run for bigger offices.
In that scenario.
I mean, I think that stepping back for a second, you can see the signs of these issues beginning to weigh on the parties for a long time. I mean, beginning in the 2015 campaign, whether it was Bernie on the left or Donald Trump on the right, or the emergence of Mamdani in the New York mayoral race this year. What all these things have in common is that there's a growing share of the electorate, relatively young, relatively low income, it seems relatively non-white as well, that is so dissatisfied
relatively non-white
and with their prospects and with the opportunities that they have in life, that they're open to very non-traditional political candidacies that we wouldn't have imagined in 1997.
Non-traditional, trying to make Mamdani sound like such a freak show, and like we had socialist, communist candidates 100 years ago.
Simmering problems continue to.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
It was nice to hear about people turning against Trump. That needs to be the biggest trend in America, people turning against Trump.
Business owners protection for what they've worked hard to build.
The sooner we all turn against Trump, the more of America we save.
Rigorous reporting told through a human lens. Go deeper.
We're losing more and more America and more people every day
The Daily, an audio series
due to Trump terrorism and treason.
Distribution of The Daily is made possible by American Public Media. APM produces and distributes programs that entertain and engage audiences everywhere.
The Daily is powered by the journalism of the New York Times and is distributed by APM, American Public Media.
Looks like it's about to be
You can go deeper into the stories you hear on the
might be BBC News actually at 10 o'clock my time. BBC News will probably still have the Minnesota protests, Minneapolis protests as the number one story.
I'm Natalie Kishoev. See you on Monday.
Kind of looking forward to what the number one story is.
This is CPR News 90.
NPR's tried to kind of downplay it some. Today they've been doing a lot of reporting on the protests.
On HD at 90.1 FM.
Yesterday they did a whole news cycle, top of the hour news report without mentioning the protest once, which they mentioned like the ice storm, but not the ice that.
New music or Colorado music or music period. Discover music you get one trade.
Foxen, Foxzen. Foxzen.
Makes an impact, no matter
like Fox and
If you're
Zen.
thinking about making a larger gift, there are a lot of different options.
All one word.
You can make a higher dollar Summit
Foxen.
Club or a 14er Circle gift. Donate through your IRA or
Maybe I was a
donor-advised fund.
vampire.
Give appreciated
Maybe
stock
I
or even
was
real
a
estate.
dream you tried
Find
to
the one that
keep.
works for
Maybe
you
I
at
was a
CPR.org/support.
beehive of desire. Maybe
However,
I
to
was
get
a
your support
nightmare
is what
running
keeps
free.
Colorado Public
Maybe
Radio
I was
going
asleep
strong.
all day.
Thank you.
Maybe I was in the back cave serving
Is the
tea.
TED Radio
Maybe
Hour.
I was just a disco
Each
ball
week,
away.
groundbreaking TED
Maybe she
Talks
lights up and sets me free.
delivered at TED
My mama
conferences
made me
to
a
real
monster.
officials
I fell in
around the
with
world
the
to
lonely
understand who
one.
we are.
From those talks, we bring you speakers and ideas
We fell
that
out
will
of
surprise
the
you,
clouds.
Just don't know what you're gonna find.
challenge
My mama
you,
made me a
Ask ourselves, like, why is
monster.
it nobody?
and even change you. I literally feel like I'm a different person.
She loves us like we are the
Feel that
only
way?
one.
Ideas worth spreading.
Tells us
Ted
we are born this
and
way to
NPR.
be ourselves and
I'm a
be
new
proud.
Samarodi.
Maybe I
Coming
had
up.
a screw
A
loose.
digitally reconstructed representation of a
Maybe
personal
lightning made
memory.
this puzzle
Choosing and
live
selecting
again.
what
Maybe burned by all the
moments from a human
torches
life
and
are
abuse.
important.
Maybe I was only looking
Digitally
for a
protect
friend.
and document
Maybe
the
I
world's
was rolled
art
too
and culture.
tightly.
On the show today,
Maybe
the
buried me
future
down in
of
a tomb
networking.
of gold.
First this news.
Maybe stuck inside a statue that looked like me. Oh, it's the climate
Around
watch.
2/3 of the world's population
This is so
consume
bad.
potatoes as their staple food.
Potatoes.
So what do we do if climate change starts to threaten our ability
Stop
to grow them?
goddamn climate change.
This is
The answer is
Climate
always the
Watch
opposite of what
from
they
the
talk about.
BBC.
Stop the goddamn climate change. Not how do we adapt to the oil companies destroying the planet. Just stop it.
Dramatically worse than previously
Fucking
predicted.
Brits.
Why can't we just stop emitting carbon altogether?
Fucking Brexiteer Brit.
I'm Caroline Steele, and this week we're in Peru.
This week we're
which
wasting
happens to be the
5 minutes
birthplace of the potato.
potential news
The
time on
BBC's Jane Chambers
potatoes.
travelled high into the Andes to meet the farmers who are hoping that the country's potato heritage might help us in the future.
And it's not like it's unimportant. It's just they never ever addressed that. Hey, you want to save the planet? You got to stop the oil companies.
Music, which is the way people welcome visitors here at Parque de la Papa, or in English, the Potato Park. It's high up in the mountains of the sacred valley of the Incas in the region of Cusco, which is also home to Machu Picchu, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and the country's most visited tourist destination.
This is the Potato Museum, where you can see potatoes of all sorts of
I mean, that's
shapes,
cool. I like
sizes, and
potatoes.
colors.
I went to the
That's
Mr.
my
Peanut
guide,
Museum
Daniel
and
Paco
it was
Condori,
great.
who's a local farmer, and
Nothing
expert
against
in all
potatoes.
things potato.
In fact, I invented potato
Daniel shows
cereal.
me
Or I
the
think someone should
different
invent
homemade
potato
tools they
cereal.
use to grow the potatoes.
Like cold cereal
And then he
made of
takes me on
potatoes.
a
Potato
short
O's.
car ride to show me why he and other members of the community are so passionate about preserving the different varieties.
But who are we preserving from? Climate change.
Here we are,
The evils of the oil companies.
3,150 meters above sea level. In the levels on the hillsides you can see in front of us, we grow crops like corn, beans, and grains. This is the lower part of the park. Before we grew potatoes here, but now we can't because of climate change. It used to be cold here, but now it's warmer and the potatoes don't do well here. The soil used to be darker and more moist, but with more sun and higher temperatures, it's changed and it's drier.
So they've moved the potatoes higher up. We drive up windy roads with sheep, cows, and llamas grazing in the fields and finally arrive. It is absolutely beautiful here. I've got a lake in front of me and I'm surrounded by green hills. It's high, high up, over 4,000 meters, and I'm feeling a bit breathless. There are terraces in front of us that were made by the Incas thousands of years ago, and I've come to the fields where the local communities work.
Farming is getting more and more difficult, so we are testing different potato varieties to see which ones are the most resistant to climate change. We are looking to see if they can survive different weather conditions, things like frost, hail, and warmer temperatures. We test them out in different parts of the park to make sure there is food security for different generations.
What kind of tests do you do with them?
We have investigation sites around the park where we grow them, and we measure things like the temperature and the levels of moisture. We also monitor pests and diseases at different altitudes on test plots to see which varieties perform best under those conditions. So those are the kinds of things we are doing.
The BBC's Jane Chambers on the potatoes that might feed people in the future. And that was Climate Watch from the BBC.
She burned most of her letters and often published anonymously. But Helen Hunt Jackson of Colorado Springs was once one of America's most famous authors. Born back east, she was childhood friends with Emily Dickinson. After a series of deeply personal tragedies, Helen Hunt wrote poetry to work through grief and found an audience. When she moved to Colorado Springs, she married again with the condition for Mr. Jackson that nothing interfere with her writing. Then a personal introduction to the plight of indigenous people gave her a cause. She denounced the mistreatment of Native Americans and wrote 2 books to awaken a larger audience. One, a best-selling novel that has never been out of print. After her death in 1885, Jackson's activism began to have an impact, and her legacy took root. As her old friend Emily Dickinson wrote, Helen of Troy will die, but Helen of Colorado, never. A Colorado postcard with the support of Coble & Company.
Figure out what they're gonna do about potatoes.
It's the TED Radio Hour from NPR. I'm Manoush Zomorodi. On the show today, the future of our memories.
So it was 2014, and it was during one of the biggest refugee crises from the last decades here in Europe.
This is Pau Alecum Garcia. Pau lives in Barcelona, but a decade ago, he was in Greece, helping relocate Syrian refugees who were escaping civil war.
Thanks.
And I remember one conversation one night with this elderly woman, and she told me, Pau, I'm not afraid of being a refugee now, as I have lived my life. What I'm afraid is that my grandkids will be refugees forever. And I said, how come? I don't think so. Like, they will find a new place, a new home, they will keep on. She told me, yes. The thing is that whenever they try to ask the question, where do I come from? They won't be able to answer it because we have lost home. We have lost our neighborhoods, the streets where they were born. Of course, we have lost all our photo albums from our family, the diaries of my not only community and country heritage have been lost, but also our family, individual family history have been lost through this forced migration. And that kind of made us reflect on the role that memory and visual memory has in the build-up of our identity and how we construct ourselves. And that idea of reconstructing memories was stuck in us.
Reconstructing memories. This got Pau thinking. Could he help people capture their memories in a photograph? Something to hold and see, even if their family albums, diaries, and letters were lost. Because Pau is a technologist, and so over the next decade, he and his colleagues at his design studio in Barcelona worked with AI tools to create something that they now call synthetic memories.
Representations of a thought.
Synthetic memory in the context of this project, of course, refers to a digitally reconstructed representation of a personal memory. And we use artificial intelligence models that, using words, prompting them with words, can generate certain images. But the goal is to find an image that can bring a face to stories of people that have lost these images, that have never been able to document part of their memories.
Pau Alecum Garcia explains from the TED stage.
Memories are the architects of our identity, right? Memories remind us who we are. And visual memories are very important. We all have a picture of someone we love in our wallet, in our phones, in our homes. Visual memories shape our sense of self, and they can shape our sense of belonging to a specific place. They can teach us things from the past. And because all that, they can actually make us understand in a deeper level how we react to things. Unlike organic memories, which are formed and stored in the human brain. Synthetic memories are visual memories from a person's past, which have been never documented or lost, and that we can now, using Gen AI, transform from a text or an oral description into an image. It's a new way of reconstructing a past that has been hidden to our eyes.
Part of me wonders, well, why do we need a synthetic memory? Why do we need artificial intelligence to create a visualization of it?
It is, I think, a matter of sharing memory.
Why don't you ever need a document?